This is the Ottawa Senators Outlook. Here is your host, Jack Henry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ottawa Senators Outlook. My host, Jack. This is my recap reacting to the latest game, so let's get right to it. So, this recap is coming out a little bit late, so sorry to all of you fine people watching. But regardless, the Senators come away with a 4-2 victory, sweeping the Battle of Ontario. So, in the first period, nothing happened. So, after 20 minutes, it is 0-0. In the second period, William Nylander scored to make it 1-0 Toronto. Then Jake Sanderson scored to tie it at 1. And then a minute later, Austin Matthews scores to make it 2-1. Linus Ullmark has been pretty solid for the most of the year with the Senators, and he's given up some bad goals. That was definitely one that he should have had. If you watch the clip of Matthews scoring that goal, I don't understand what Ullmark was doing there. So just learn from that mistake. Don't let it happen again. I definitely don't want to see that happen again because that was an all-time blunder from Ullmark on that goal, one that really shouldn't have happened. But regardless, the Leafs are up 2-1. Doesn't matter anyway because David Perron scores tied at 2. Claude Giroux on the power play to give Ottawa the lead 3-2. That's all that happened in the second period. So 5 goals scored in the second period sends lead 3-2 after 40. And then in the final period, with only 7 seconds left, Michael Amadio scores to make it 4-2, and that's their final score. The goaltending matchup was obviously Ullmark taking on Anthony Stolarz. So Ullmark stopping 21 of 23 for a .913 save percentage, and Stolarz stopping 21 of 24 for an .875 save percentage. So the Senators with the winner now 36-25-5. They have a total of 77 points. And the Leafs are 39-24-3. They have a total of 81 points. So the Senators creeping up on the Leafs and the Lightning because the Lightning also have 81 points. So something to keep an eye on for the Ottawa Senators. As of right now, they are somewhat in a comfortable position in that first wild card. And if they get on a super big hot streak here because their schedule is pretty favorable, they could end up in a division spot at the end of the year. Maybe even home ice advantage throughout the first round. But I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because at the end of the day, I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but I think we're going to end up in a wild card spot. But who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe the Senators go on a real hot streak and end up in a division spot. But as it stands right now, we're in a wild card spot, and I do think that's where we'll end up. So regardless, I'm happy that we will most likely make the playoffs. Money Puck has this right now, I believe, at like a 96% chance of the playoffs. I might be a little bit inaccurate on that, but the chances of us making the playoffs are a lot better than us missing it. We'd have to probably go on like whatever amount of games we have left in the season and lose them all to probably miss the playoffs. I feel like that's kind of the position we're at where we're going to have to miss. So I'm liking our chances of making the playoffs with the run we've been on. We've won 6 games in a row now, so another winning streak for your Ottawa Senators at the right moment, right time. Speaking of right moment, right time, I want to talk about David Perron and Michael Amadio. So those were the 2 big free agent signings the Senators made this offseason. They made 5 in particular. Gaudette. They have Nick Cousins, who's on LTIR right now. They had Noah Gregor, who got traded for Fabian Zetterlund. And I'll say before anything, Fabian Zetterlund, even though he's on the 4th line because, again, we're on a winning streak, so he's kind of stuck there because whatever's going on in our top 9 right now is working. Zetterlund is still making an impact and very positively. So once he gets a scoring going in any way he can, I definitely think the Senators are really going to be able to pull out a full forward core that is pretty solid and then add Nick Cousins to that as well. I think this is one of the most complete forward cores we're ever going to have. But anyways, let me not get off topic. So David Perron and Michael Amadio were the 2 big free agent signings combined for a total amount of $6.6 million on the cap. Those 2, to be quite honest with you, were very disappointing to start the year. David Perron, for obvious reasons, and I'm giving him a pass regardless of what happens at the end of the year because what he had to encounter and go through at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't wish on anybody. So I'm happy to see David Perron finding his game again after all the off-ice issues he's had. And Michael Amadio, if anything, he was pretty disappointing to start the year. But he's starting to, and I should say Perron as well, both guys are starting to show what they were signed for. They weren't expected to be like 50-goal scorers. Michael Amadio is phenomenal defensively. He can get you some goals here and there. He had 15 on the year last year. He's at 9 already. So there's a chance at the end of the year he could end up at around 15. David Perron, I know he had like 40-something points for Detroit last year. That's obviously going to be less than what he's going to be able... Well, I should rephrase. That's going to be more than what he's going to end up at the end of the regular season with us. But granted, he missed a lot of time. So I think these guys are showing their value, and I think it's really showing why Steve Staios may be underrated. I know I get on him a lot for being a little too hesitant, and some of the moves are quite questionable at the beginning. But in hindsight, they have really worked out. I mean, I'm looking at the Chikrin deal with Washington, and look, Chikrin's having a phenomenal year, and I have no ill against him whatsoever. I think a lot of Sens fans are hoping for the best for him, but look what he's doing now. He's going to command a lot on his contract this summer since he is an unrestricted free agent. The Senators were not going to be able to match that, and I think Steve Staios knew that. The whole fan base knew that, so regardless, something had to happen, whether that was moving Shabbat or Chikrin. Chikrin was the more likely one, so that's why they moved him. Nick Jensen has been solid, and I said right here when the trade happened, I like Nick Jensen. I think he's a good fit for the team. And then Perron and Amadio showing their value here. And then look at the Dylan Cousins deal. Josh Norris is already hurt for Buffalo, so, I mean, there's a reason why we traded him. And then Fabian Zetterlund, once he gets the offense going, I mean, this is a very solid team. And then look at Ullmark as well, improving from Korpisalo to him. So, overall, the well-roundedness around this team is phenomenal, and you got to give Steve Staios a lot of credit. But I wanted to give a quick shout-out to Perron and Amadio because they've really been stepping it up as of late, and they're showing why they were signed here. I'll have more talking about the Sens probably in an episode later in the week, talking about what happened from the beginning of last season going into this season, what changed, and I'm excited to talk about it. So, anyways, this was my recap reaction. We have a game against the Montreal Canadiens on Tuesday, so I'll have a preview for that coming out at midnight on Tuesday, so be on the lookout for that. Comment down below your thoughts on this game, like and subscribe, but for now, this is Jack from the Sens Outlook, and go Sens go.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Ottawa Senators Outlook. For more of this podcast, click on the videos on the left, and subscribe by clicking on the icon on the right. Thank you.